Hi, this is Ted. Today I'm going to be talking about Robin Bullock. All right, first of all, before I talk about him, I need to have a couple of words that I need to explain to you what they mean. Shut-eye. What is a shut-eye? A shut-eye is a psychic who believes himself or herself to be a true psychic. A lot of psychics know they're just conning people. And they call those who believe they're genuine a shut-eye. But there's a commonality between the two. The shut-eye and the conning people both use very similar methods to be able to reach people and help people think that they are really getting something from the spiritual world. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because Robin Bullock is going to be using these same methods, the same ways that these shut-eyes and these con men and women use in the psychic world. Okay, the next thing I need to talk about is hot reading versus cold reading. Hot reading is when a psychic has done his homework, her homework, beforehand, so they know a lot about that person already coming in to get a reading. In other words, they might have been on social media and realized this person has a certain dog or cat that they just love. And so already you know, because you see a picture of them over and over again with this cat. Let's just say it's a cat. And when they come in, you can say something like, the spirits are telling me that there's a very special animal in your life. It's white and it purrs. It's a cat. Okay, this person already knows what's going on. That's a hot reading. Peter Popoff did hot readings.
I suspected that Popoff's revelations were other than divine. The radio scanner we brought to the hall picked up a decidedly worldly source.
Hello, Petey. Can you hear me? If you can't, you're in trouble.
Popoff was being prompted by his wife through a wireless earpiece.
John?
Dearie Johnson.
She'd gotten her information from prayer cards filled out by the faithful before the show began.
She's about to get rid of the walker.
You want to get rid of this walker, sister?
And that's a hot reading. Robin does not do hot readings in this particular video. He does a cold reading. What is a cold reading? A cold reader will take a look at the person in front of them and make a lot of judgments. And they get good at this because they do it so often, over and over again. They have people coming in front of them, asking them for help. And they begin to size up everything that's going on by that person's demeanor, by how that person reacts, what they say, what they don't say. All that kind of stuff just all adds up.
Let me explain to him. He says, supposing you're a night clerk in a hotel. And when you get the job, first of all, a fellow comes in, wants a single room. You look at how good his luggage is, how good are his shoes, and you tell him there's a room in the court, there's no room, or yes, sir, depending on various pieces of evidence. He says, you've been a night clerk long enough, you glance and you tell him. You've been a night clerk a little longer and you don't have to look. You've seen it, but the computer in here has made all of those deductions without your being conscious of it. So the mind reader gets so that he, without thinking, does that, and then they say it's true.
And readers can get really good because they're practiced and they do this so much. All right, Robin Bullock does not have somebody in front of him, and that's the difference, but he will still practice everything else that a cold reader would do, a psychic would do. And the first thing he wants to do is start fishing for information. At this point, I do need to mention that he's going to be saying and talking to this girl in two parts. After the first part, he asks her to get him more information.
So let me see this. If she's listening again, okay, then does she know anything about this man? Because I sense some kind of heart problem, some kind of problem, something in their family, something happened. I need to know that if she says something.
Now, as I've mentioned, The psychic has already had somebody in front of him, and I think a lot of your prophets likewise have somebody in front of them, and they can size up a lot of what's going on and make a lot of judgment calls based on what they see. But because he doesn't have anything to see, he wants more information. He will push that and push for that throughout this. You will hear that occasionally. Once he gets that information, he can then respond better to what he's hearing.
Did you have something? Yeah?
She said that she was not sure of his health, but he's overweight and heavily drinks.
He's overweight and heavily drinks. I heard something about his heart.
First of all, I'm going to repeat that he did some fishing. In fact, I'm going to present exactly what he says. He says to the girl coming before him looking for help for a friend, does she know anything about this man? I don't know what she's asking. It is very possible she's asking about, should this person marry so-and-so? Or she's very concerned about so-and-so. I don't know. Anyway, his response is, does she know anything about this man? He's fishing. He's fishing for any kind of information that will help him. Something happened. I need to know. He says that later on because he's starting to make conclusions and he's starting to give out prophecy. And when he does that, he realizes something has happened. I need to know. Well, something happened can happen to anybody. Now, this, okay, part of this is the question part. Does she know anything about this man? That's a good question for a counselor to say. As long as you understand that counselor is not giving you the word of the Lord, but rather is just talking to you from his own wisdom, his own understanding. And you expect a counselor to ask such questions. Fishing is the number one thing that Robin does that is very much like a psychic. Secondly, foggy statements are important to psychics. Mark Edwards is an ex-psychic. He was always a con man. He knew it. He never believed in what he was doing was real. And he said one of the things that he learned is people liked foggy versus clear statements. People were far more attracted to something like, I think, or I see this. There's an image coming to me, and just be very unclear about stuff. When you do that, when you prepare something, the statement, and start fishing, it's so helpful to give that kind of foggy feel to it. And that's what Robin does. I'm going to go through 6 different statements. He says, I sense some kind of hearing problem. Oh, I'm sorry. I sense some kind of heart problem. Some kind of heart problem. Something in their family. Something happened. I hear something about his heart. Either he has children or small children. I'm not sure. Do you see the fogginess of all that? So there's fishing, there's fogginess, but there's also ambiguity involved. A psychic might say something like, I'm getting the feeling of distance. I'm not sure it's literal distance or emotional distance. Do you see how that's 2 different possibilities? Robin says, I sense some kind of heart problem. Is he talking about a disease? Or is he talking about a heart before God problem? He can hide behind either one of those. Why? Because he's being ambiguous. Finally, Robin is very general in what he says. The psychic will say something like, you have gone through some hard times. That's a good one. I like that one. Okay, by the way, test out of yourself. You have gone through some hard times lately. How many of you have gone through some hard times lately? But see, that touches you if you really believe that I'm a psychic or a prophet. You've gone through some hard times lately. But I want you to know, God is going to pull you through. All right, it might be true, it might be filled with wisdom, but the fact of the matter is, that is not a word from God. It is something that's very general, and I'm giving it to you. By the way, I'm giving it to all of you. Past relationships have been very difficult at times, but they're going to get better. Okay, got it?
People, I'm telling you, the Spirit of the Lord right now is moving on your behalf. He's speaking right through me right now. I can feel it. I know what He's doing. The Spirit of the Lord is saying that the angels have come. They're going to bring forth the justice in your life. Think about what the Lord is saying to you right now.
All right. Now, those are the types of things that we like to hear from a psychic or from a prophet. Robin says, I sense some kind of heart problem. What kind of heart problem? Not only is it ambiguous and foggy in there, but it's general. Some kind of heart problem, some kind of he even goes from that specific heart problem to just some kind of problem. Something in their family. In the first reading, he will give something in their family. So now you're thinking, wait, is this person have the heart problem, or is it somebody or something in the family? It's so foggy. It's so general. Something happened. I need to know what. Now he's fishing. But as he gets more information, he hears. At least we hear. He gets much more information than we do. But we hear that he is overweight. Whatever person we're concerned about is overweight and heavily drinks. All right, now, knowing this, you can take everything that's been said and narrow it down a little bit. And Robin does. So it's gone from a family or something out there. Now it's that person. Why? Anybody who drinks heavily and is overweight, good chance they have heart problems. And even if they don't, at least you can still say they have a heart problem before the Lord. All right. So I've heard something. He says, I've heard something about his heart. Now he's being specific. Why? Well, kind of specific, at least about him. It's dealing with him now, not family or something in the family, but now it's a heart problem, his. Now, there's one last thing I do want to mention. There's always audience involvement. And that's the person who's getting the reading or the person who's watching. True believers will do all they can to help the psychic or to help the prophet to succeed. They will bend over backwards to apply general words to their specific situation. That is called, by the way, the Barnum effect, or the Forer effect, if you want to really get detailed. If nothing applies to you through the whole thing, you will still try to find something. It must apply to me. I've seen this. I've seen a woman being told that she did not forgive somebody, and she had nobody she could think of. Somebody in your office. It's a man. There's no men I work with. Wait a minute, there's a janitor. But I don't know what I did. That's not from God, okay? She's trying very hard to make sure that her prophet is right in what he's saying. So if nothing applies, not only will you find something, or you just might shrug it off and say, whatever, and go back to him or her and try to get another message. When I started watching this video, it opened up a whole can of worms for me. Because not only did this stand out, I really thought I was just going to limit it to just that. But I found two other areas that were like, oh, no. How could he be so deceitful? All right, I'll talk to you about that in some following videos. This is Ted. You all have a good day.